guys, I want to welcome you to this very special edition of the Gay Sports Fanatic because this week we're going to talk about the College Football Playoff Quarterfinals, or the Elite Eight. So last week I went 3 wins and 1 loss, and this was against the spread. I just picked the winners. So if you see my video last week, you'll know what game I lost, which was Tennessee. I didn't think they'd win, but I thought they'd be a lot closer than they were. But the other 3 games were really pretty easy to pick, I thought, for me personally. But I'll tell you what, I thought the games in the first round, all of them were pretty awful, actually. I never was in doubt in one game who was going to win. To me, I was never in doubt. I know even when Clemson cut Texas's lead to 7, that lasted 10 seconds, and Texas went right, went down in one play down the field, put it right back up to 14. So I never had a doubt about any of those games, actually, who was going to win. So anyway, 3 wins, 1 loss against the spread. And this week, though, things get a lot tougher, and we're going to have a lot better games. So the college football playoff quarterfinals are going to deliver the way this system was supposed to. And I think for the first week it didn't, because we had bad matchups, really. Teams that just had no business being in here at all. Hello, SMU. And those, that just made the games not competitive. So, but that's not going to happen, I don't believe, anymore. So why don't we get to my picks? Let's see how I can do. We got 4 games here. Let's see how I can do. I don't know if I can repeat 3-1 last week, but let's hope I can. So here we go. First up, let's look at Texas and Arizona State. Texas is a 14-point favorite, a lot of points. Arizona State, I have to tell you, I only saw them once in action, and that was in the title game, the Big 12 title game. I saw Texas all year. Impressive at times, other times not so impressive, but they're loaded. Texas is loaded with talent. And they only lost 2 games, and both times it was to Georgia. So I know a lot more about Texas than I do Arizona State. I know they don't deserve a 4th seed. I know they don't even really deserve to be here. However, it's one game. Anything can happen. Having said that, I just think Texas, with its experience, its schedule, with its talent, I just don't think Arizona State can run with Texas and stay with them. So I'm taking Texas, and I'm throwing away the 14 points. Texas minus the 14. Next game, and I'm going to throw a curveball here to you. It's Penn State, an 11-point favorite against Boise State. Now, Boise State was one of the teams I thought probably should get in, but obviously a 3rd seed is ridiculous. I only saw Boise State play once all year, and that was when they played Oregon, and they played them well. So otherwise, Boise State didn't play anybody at all. On the other hand, Penn State had that win against Penn State didn't play a tough schedule either, by the way. Or they didn't beat anybody. They did play Ohio State tough, but they didn't play anybody all year. And then, of course, they got SMU, and I don't count much in that victory for Penn State. SMU is like watching Division II team. They had no business being in Happy Valley that day at all. It was clear within the first 2 minutes. And I had mentioned last week, it was the line play that SMU cannot get in the trenches, and teams like this cannot get in the trenches with the big dogs and fight it out. That's exactly what happened. So, however, this week's a different story. I go with my gut here. Penn State will probably win the game, but I don't think they're going to win by 12 or more, which they'd have to do to cover the spread. I like Boise State plus the 11. I also think there's about a third chance, about a 33% chance that Boise State walks out of this game against Penn State with a W. I think of all of the underdogs here, except for Notre Dame, which we'll get to in a little bit. Boise State's got the chance of the teams that were maybe not really deserving to be in this in the first place. They're the ones with a chance to really take this game, to have a victory. And I think Boise State could walk out with a W. But in any case, do take Boise State and the 11 points. Next, we're going to look at Ohio State and Oregon. What a great matchup. Unfortunately, it's a matchup we already saw this year, and that's really bad news for Oregon. I kind of feel bad for them getting this draw of having to play Ohio State again and beat Ohio State again. I don't know how many teams in history, maybe you guys can tell me in the comments, has anyone beaten Ohio State twice in 1 year? I don't think that's ever happened. So, and this Ohio State team is good. They showed that against Tennessee. They're my dark horse team to win the whole thing. So Ohio State is a 2.5-point favorite over Oregon. This spread surprises me a little bit. I got to tell you the truth. I thought it might be just even, but it's not. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think Ohio State, I think it will be close. I like Ohio State to win this game, and I like them to win by more than 2.5 points. I definitely think Ohio State will win by 3 or more. So give me Ohio State and throw away the 2.5. Next is the best game of the four and easily the most unpredictable, and that is Notre Dame against Georgia. Now, this for you college football old timers like me, I can remember back to 1980. Georgia had Herschel Walker, and they played Notre Dame for the national title in the Sugar Bowl, and Georgia won that. Had been the last time they won the national title until up to 3 years ago. So we've got Notre Dame. Obviously, it's a whole new story now. Notre Dame against Georgia. There's a couple unknowns here. Notre Dame is without their top defensive tackle in Riley Mills. That's going to be a wild card here. And of course, a huge wild card for Georgia is the fact that they're in their backup quarterback, who did play at the end of that Texas game and looked decent. But I don't know. The Stockton guy, I don't know. He hasn't played that much, so this is a tough one. And again, I didn't know until I turned this camera on where I was going to go with this Notre Dame Georgia game. So I want you guys to know that this is one of those where I haven't done this all year really, but I really want to just almost punt on it and go with like an over under or something, but I didn't. So I'm taking, at the end of the day, here's the pick. It's Georgia. I like Georgia. Give away the 1.5 points. Okay. And I'm about 51% confident that that's going to happen. Okay. So take that into account. So to wrap up, I've got, to wrap up the games here, we've got Texas giving away 14, like Texas. We've got Boise State plus 11, like that a lot. Ohio State throwing away 2.5 to Oregon, going with Ohio State, giving away the points. And then, as I just said, in an incredibly close call, I'm taking Georgia and giving away 1.5. So, you guys, let's see how I can do again this week. I've had a great year in predicting these games, so let's hope I can keep up the winning here. So be sure to like, subscribe. Feel free to comment as well. So I love that. I love any feedback you can give me. There's got to be a number of people watching this who think I'm crazy, especially on a number of these picks. I mean, these could go either way if you wanted to, and make good arguments probably either way. But anyway, this is what I'm going with. Thank you, you guys, and have fun watching these videos.